Y'all, I just went to the yard sale this weekend and I got this nice dress for $1. And here is the tag to prove that I am telling the truth. It is a very nice dress. I am so happy of the good deals that I got. Well, I actually got 20 dresses and they were each $1 a piece. And the good thing about them is that they were on sale. And I am so excited. Why? Because right now I am on a journey to become debt free. So I want to pay off credit cards. That way I can start building wealth. And instead of paying money to creditors each month, I can use that money to invest in my business. So this weekend I went to a community yard sale and I got some really nice dresses for a good deal. And the good thing about it is that I actually needed the dresses. So if you're on a journey of trying to pay off debt, you can still pay off debt and still, look good, and you can still find ways to dress nice without, actually going to stores, and paying a lot of money for dresses. Because if you go to yard sale, a lot of the people, they want to get rid of the stuff. So they don't want to drag all that stuff back into the house and then they can't get rid of it. Because I saw that they were having a community yard sale. So when I got off of work Saturday, I stopped by there. Around, it was around 1 o'clock. But the good thing about yard sale, if you really want to get the good deals, you have to get out early. You have to get there around about 8 o'clock. That's when, most of all of the good stuff is there. But like me, if you work on the weekends, you may not be able to get there at 8 o'clock. You may be able to get there at 10 o'clock or either 2 o'clock. Because, I am just super happy because, while you're paying off debt, you have to be very disciplined. Because I admit, when you're paying off debt, you have to sacrifice. You may not be able to buy the $200 shoes that you usually buy. You may have to get a $50 pair, or you might have to end up getting a $60 pair of shoes. But it's worth it if you're trying to pay down debt. Because the first thing that we have to recognize when we're trying to pay down debt is, why do we need to pay down debt? And then first we have to understand what our debts are. And that's why it's so important that we actually sit down and we look at it in black and white and see what we actually owe. Have you ever heard of the saying that numbers don't lie? Well, that's the truth. Numbers do not lie. And once we sit down and we look at them and we actually, it's just like this. First, in order for a person to realize they have a problem, you have to admit you have a problem. So if we have debt, we need to come up with a way of, and with a plan of, how can we pay down debt? So I used the example as the yard sale because, you can still go on vacation. You can still, dress nice, without, breaking the bank. It's worth the sacrifice if, we want to get out of debt. Because, and once we get out of debt, we don't want to, get back in debt again. And then we want to learn, well, what caused me to get into debt. So, while I'm on my journey, I'm just learning how to, manage my money better. Um, First you have to look and see what did you do wrong. Maybe instead of going to the most expensive store to shop, you can still get nice, things that doesn't look really expensive. You don't have to have, the name brand right now. Um, you know, and you'll be amazed. You can even go to yard sales and you can find Gucci Gucci purse. Um, you just never know because people, they want to get rid of stuff, and it's so much easier to sell it instead of dragging that stuff into back in the house. So, I'm really glad that I really, that I stopped and I decided to go, because at first I was like, okay, they're not gonna have, anything, that I like. But first I left, and then I went home, and then I said, okay, well, let me go back. But if you're trying to pay down debt, remember, we have to stay encouraged. Remember, this will not last always. We will get out of debt, but just, we have to think positive, and we have to think, this is only temporary. And, because I want us to build wealth. And, building wealth is so important, because we don't want to just give all of our money and interest to the credit card companies and then they're getting rich. Because if we have a home, we can use that money to fix up our house. We can send our kids to, um, you know, maybe private school. We can pay for tutoring for the kids. We can invest in the stock market. Just think of all the money that we're paying in interest to credit card company. We can use that money to invest ourselves. So my goal is to help people get out of debt along with my journey. I offer one-on-one consultations, and just click the link in the description. And I'm trying to grow my channel, so hit that subscribe button so you can follow me weekly, and I can also continue to help other people. But as always, remember, we can get out of debt and we can budget. But first, we have to realize that, we have a problem, and that is the first step. And then once we figure that out, we can come up with a plan of how we can get off of debt, as long as we stay positive. So remember, click the link in the description to set up a one-on-one consultation with me. If you are ready to get in debt, you're tired of giving the banks your money each week, you want to invest in your family, and you want to build wealth. So as always, hit that subscribe button, and remember, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button too, because I'm really trying to grow my channel. So remember, follow me weekly.